Hey guys, how's it going today? Welcome to a patch notes video for the Universe Sim. I honestly was not expecting to have a patch so soon. I was honestly expecting it to come in August, but I guess we got a little bit early, an early surprise, I guess. But yeah, I was not planning for this update at all. So let's just go ahead and check out this update because I've looked through it and I have to say it looks pretty promising. It's a lot bigger than what I thought today's patch was going to be. So basically, this first paragraph here is basically just thanking everybody and also talking about future patches and talking about some of the features will carry over into other planets. So that's pretty exciting. So we're already kind of seeing possibly some content for the space age and stuff like that. But yeah, and also some of the stuff is also going to go into some of the next future patches. So patch 50 for the 51st patch, so on. But yeah, so let's go ahead and look at it. So the very first thing that we have is the cattle farm. And this is one that I have talked about before. It was kind of teased on the Twitter. So let's just go ahead and read through this. So one of the most requested features in our community has been cattle farms, to raise your own animals and receive food in return. The cattle farm will appear during the medieval age and will allow you to tame wild animals for the purpose of domestication. Please note that you will only be able to domesticate herbivorous animals. In order to tame an animal, you will be required to 1. Build a cattle farm, and 2. Find the animal in the wild. Once located, you can click on the animal you wish to domesticate and you will have the option to tame it. After a few songs and dance numbers around the animal, they will be tamed. You will now be able to tend to them to your farm. So kind of exciting. It kind of seems like these are kind of, you could almost say, like mini quests that you can kind of fill your time with. Pretty cool. I think I saw them posting a photo of basically a whole bunch of turtles in these farms, so you're actually going to be able to see the animals in these little these pens, which is pretty cool. Very exciting. And we already do have the modern age cattle farm too. So it's not just a medieval building currently. We also have a modern version too. So very cool there. And as you can see, we have some mammoths here. And unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to tame any wolves, but that's okay. So we also have a mini event system. So this, I think, is actually kind of interesting, and I was wondering if they would ever do something like this. But basically, throughout the Universe Sim, you will encounter events that require you to make a choice. You may not have the luxury of easy choices, for everything has consequences. Our advice to you, dear creator, is to choose carefully and aid your nuggets when they need it the most, even the ones who get themselves into trouble. So right here, they're showing basically this thing that kind of shows some fast food and then more of like, I guess, more of healthier options that might be more expensive. So as you can see, a powerful nugget is requesting guidance for their next business venture. Their family made a fortune from their hand shoes invention in an era or so ago. So they certainly have the capital to get things off the ground. They intend to enter the fast food industry, which has become a big hit due to the busy lives of modern nuggets, but make it a little bit more appealing by calling it artisanal fast food. However, they do not know if they should create healthier food and drink, which is harder to produce, or fill nuggets up with empty, fatty calories. So right there, we kind of see that it's going to be a choice of, fast food or more of healthier food. Now, so I guess we have 3 options here. So we can go cheap. We don't need nuggets to live forever, which is quite the take, I suppose. Go healthy. The lives of my nuggets are more important. So chances are maybe that's going to... So I suppose that both of these options are going to affect the longevity of each of your nuggets' lives. So that's kind of cool. We also have stick to shoes, leave the food industry alone. So basically that's kind of like a do nothing approach, I guess. So kind of interesting. I do also appreciate the nice name, I guess, for this little event. That's kind of a little bit funny. So yeah, I think these events are going to be pretty cool, and I'm really excited to see more about these. Now, I also just scrolled down a little bit, so you might have seen that the next thing that we're going to talk about is volcanoes. So Apparently, there is now volcanoes in the game. This looks absolutely chaotic and amazing at the very same time. So, proper city planning is vital for a strong civilization, now more so than ever before. Be cautious where you place your buildings, or you may end up with your very own Pompeii. With the 50th patch, you now have a chance to generate an active volcano with every new world. Volcanoes go through quite the process before erupting, which is why our own eruptions occur after multiple stages. Though you may have some time before your volcano erupts, you won't want to delay protecting your civilization. Volcanoes are rather rare events on a mother planet, but it can be quite devastating on others. So right there, they're kind of hinting towards more of a magma type planet in the future of the updates. So pretty exciting there. Yeah, I don't know really if there's more to talk about with this. I can imagine that trying to protect your civilization from one of these catastrophic events is going to be hectic. So I am excited to experience that though. So yes, as you can see, there's just the basically the mouth of the volcano right there. And once again, we've got an earthquake. So earthquakes are another natural disaster that can now occur on your planet. While they may not be as devastating as other Universe Sim disasters, you will have to ensure that you have adequate engineers near the earthquake's epicenter so they can immediately repair any damages. Certain planets may have unfavorable terrain or difficult conditions. You will later have your choice of conquering these territories or skip them altogether. Okay, pretty interesting. So it seems like possibly earthquakes are going to be, interesting. So it sounds almost like earthquakes will kind of happen in more of the same areas. So they're going to be easier to predict. So that's kind of interesting. I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out in game. And it's not going to cause any massive cracks in the ground or anything like that, so that's kind of nice. But it is going to cause quite a bit of damage to any sort of buildings that are in the vicinity. So yeah, pretty cool. Excited to see that in action as well. And again, seems to be another thing that is going to happen on other planets too. All right, so next thing is kind of a controversial thing, and I've talked about this in the past. And I'm not sure how I feel about how they've put this into the game, but we'll see how it goes. So this is the passive discovery point system. So discovery points will play an important role in the Universe Sim. The players will have a choice to either actively generate points through expeditions or passively generate them via special building types, i.e. schools and theaters. So kind of interesting that they're using both schools and theaters there. I don't know. Multiple schools and theaters won't contribute to the total number of discovery points being generated, so there won't be any need to place more than the reasonable amount. You will need one type of each building in order to start generating passive points. So basically, it sounds like you will need one type of each building. So it sounds like you will have to have at least a school and a theater to start generating passive points, which I suppose is okay. But it's still, I'm not a big fan of this the passive discovery point system, specifically because I don't think there's that many perks that really require discovery points. So in my opinion, it didn't really slow you down that much. But we'll see how it plays in game and stuff like that. So we'll see. It is also really slow. So this is actually something I really appreciate. So as you can see here, we can see school discovery points 10 every 10 minutes, it looks like. So that means 10. So that means there's 10 discovery points every 10 minutes. So about one every minute. And I actually really appreciate that amount. Because I think this needs to be slow. I can't imagine that this should be fast or anything like that. Whether or not that needs to be slower, though, well, that's kind of up for discussion. And we'll kind of see how it plays out, of course. So schools generate 1 DP. So there we go. All right, so we also have some improvements and balance changes. So help menu for the expedition camp. So those of you that are newer to the game, and also I guess also the expedition camp is pretty new anyway. So even us seasoned players, we don't really know what the hell it's doing. But there's now actually a nice little help menu to go along with the expedition, which I actually have to say I really like the graphics for this. They did a really good job on these. So the expedition camp received a tutorial window which explains the overall mechanics of the camp and provides clarity for players on what to do, which is fantastic. I think this is pretty good. It's always good to have some sort of thing to keep new players interested and keep them learning about the game. So this is good. And also I think that these sort of things kind of should be added as soon as new things come out. So I feel like this should have actually been included in the previous update, but honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think that the expedition camp's that complicated. I think there's other means in the universe sim that feel more complicated, i.e. the water and also electricity can kind of be a little bit more complicated than this. All right, so residential blocks placement. This is actually kind of cool. So residential blocks will be placed closer together and will attempt to occupy empty spots if they can fit. This should allow players to make more. This should allow players to have more condensed cities and ultimately provide more space for other buildings. So this is actually really cool. I really appreciate this. This basically makes it so it seems, well, I could be misunderstanding this, but I think it's kind of saying that residential buildings don't need to be placed on roads anymore. At least that's what I'm getting from this. So this is actually kind of cool and something that I kind of wish was in there when the roads were put in, because we already had it beforehand and they kind of took it out when roads were implemented. So this is going to be kind of cool. It's going to make it a little interesting, I think, with some placements, but we'll see how it plays out, of course. So discovery points for quests and events. So certain quests and events will award players with discovery points that can be used to unlock new perks. So there's a really heavy emphasis now on discovery points, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. But I guess we'll see kind of what happens. I'm wondering if they're going to possibly increase the amount of perks or increase the amount of traits that you can unlock in the research tree that need discovery points. If that is the case, then I think that is great. Then it's probably a good decision, just because of there's not that many right now. But we'll see kind of what happens. So the next thing, warehouse storage. So we added another requested feature from our players, which honestly, I don't know. I haven't noticed anybody requesting this, but there probably has been some requests. And also, to be totally honest, I kind of like this feature, so it's pretty cool. So the total warehouse storage capacity can now be found on the bottom of the panel next to all of your resources. Here you can see the storage you have available and how much is occupied. So right down here, so it looks like it's going to be right next to, I believe that's water. So water is going to also have storage. So your active storage and your total storage, or how much storage capacity you have. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And there's also other improvements as well. So a couple of things that have been fixed and changed. Some of these are kind of sad. So for instance, tornadoes can no longer be trapped inside of a dome. Very unfortunate. Honestly, this kind of makes it so there's no sort of a thing that you can do now to stop tornadoes. You just kind of have to deal with them now. And I think that's fine, because of the changes to how you rebuild buildings. I think that's actually probably good, because let's face it, a lot of the sort of events that happened were super easy to deal with, and they just didn't amount to much anyway. So I think this is good. Tornadoes will now pick up trees and nuggets. So that's interesting. So I guess they just kind of killed nuggets to begin with, didn't actually pick them up. So now they'll actually go ahead and pick up trees and nuggets. So kind of cool. Farms received a food production buff. So that's interesting. So I've talked about this, but there was previously a bug for farms. So that was actually fixed. So as you can see right here, so several bugs with farms that were negatively impacting food production. So this bug was fixed, so making it so that farms actually are going to be producing the correct amount of food, which is great. I kind of wish this was fixed a while ago, because apparently it's been in the game for a while and nobody's really noticed. Until like the whole expedition things, and people were like, wait a moment, why are we like decreased in food so much? But so they're buffing food production and also fixing this bug. So even with this bug fixed, they still felt like farms were not producing enough food. Interesting. I guess we'll see how that goes. So the camera's position will now save with the game and load where you left off. Huh. Okay. That didn't really matter too much to me, but that's okay. So there's a couple of things that are good in this and, not so great. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it happens. So yeah, as I already mentioned, the farm bug is fixed, so that is great. They also fixed another bug that I didn't know about either, which was sometimes causing hunters to not pick up food after hunting. This resulted in labor nuggets wandering far out to get the food piles. So this is really good for them to fix. It's always really bad to have any sort of nuggets going out to a spot that's already been ventured out before, because that's just a waste of time. So that's good. I'm really glad that they fixed that. And I'm really excited to play with this when, this isn't an issue anymore. So yeah, I think that's about everything that I wanted to cover in this patch. So if you guys enjoyed, hit that like button. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, anything of the sorts, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody who is subscribing. And thank you, Creativo, for doing another update to the game that everybody loves so much. And look out for some more content, because some more Universe Sim videos are on its way. And I promise that I'm going to do a little bit better with uploads. I'm sorry, everybody, for that. So look out for a new series starting tomorrow, and have a fantastic night or day, whatever time it is for you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. If you guys are brand new to the channel and you guys like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so very much, and have a fantastic day.